Finally, I would like to share some observations of the German scholar Konrad Schauenberg regarding the Caeretan Hydria in Boston. He remarks and observes that the vertical handle of most Caeretan Hydriae has 4 ribs. Only the Vienna Bucyrus Hydria and the New York Hydria have 6 ribbed rear handles. The handle of the Boston Hydria, though, is 3 ribbed. He also adds, unusual are the large black dots at the bases of the vertical handle and the limitation of the palmette below that to 5 leaves. In addition, the fact that the palmettes and lotus blossoms in the frieze below the figures, below the 2 maenad and satyrs, that is, each have only 3 leaves, and this is also unusual. So what do we make of these observations here, which are very specific to this Boston Hydria? Well, the feature of 3 leaves at the bottom with the lotus blossoms and the palmettes alternating is possibly a feature that is meant to indicate the 3 major events happening in a sequence on the water jar, which we discussed earlier. They start from the deer hunting diversion on the front side and then next to the assault, abduction, or capture of the lady on the reverse side, and then finally the act of fleeing or running away with the kidnapped woman from the area. The satyr Ravan leaves with big strides like a galloping horse to signify that he is taking his victim far away very quickly, while the 2 young men are occupied with the deer. Schauenberg also seems to realize that there are 2 large black dots at the top handle's base, which act as a kind of reflective mirror or symmetrical motif that divides the 2 main events of abduction and carrying off of the maenad, quote-unquote, Sita on the back side. In my opinion, the 2 black dots symbolize not only the 2-part nature of the scene, but the 2-faced nature of Ravan, more animal-like on the left than on the right. So just to summarize, the 3-ribbed handle at the top, as well as the 3-leaf lotus blossoms and palmettes that are alternating in a row in the bottom frieze, are all an indication. They're all pointing to the 3-part nature of the story that's being told on the Hydria. Another interesting thing that he notices is the limitation of the palmette in the middle to 5 leaves. And if you look a little bit closer, you'll see that on the left scene, Ravan the satyr, his biceps is overlapping with one of the leaves of the palmette. And this may explain why it was limited to 5, because the artist may have underestimated how much space he needed in order to enlarge the form of Ravan and depict him carrying Sita off in the left side. So again, just to reiterate, if you look very closely at the 5 palmette leaves, you'll see the leftmost is covered slightly by Ravan's left arm. And I think this was probably an accident, a mistake by the painter of underestimating, how much room he really needed in order to depict his enlarged form, and just simply to depict him carrying Sita off, just to depict the whole scene of the taking her away to wherever he was going to take her away, which is probably Lanka. The 2-part nature of the scene, which is symbolized by the 2 black dots, also reminds us about the shift from the static to dynamic movement from the right scene to the left scene. And this shift reflects the change in the circumstances from lady trying to exert her freedom and maintain independence to a subdued woman who has all but surrendered to the monstrous Rakshasa.